Hello, this video is titled Section 6.6, which is Properties of Parallelograms. And there are two targets for this one. The first one is to use relationships among sides and angles of parallelograms. And the second one is to use relationships among diagonals of parallelograms. So let's go and get started. So a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with a few specific properties that make it a unique quadrilateral. Okay? Every single quadrilateral that is a parallelogram has opposite sides that are congruent. So down here in this parallelogram, this side is congruent to the opposite side. The opposite sides are congruent. Same thing with the top and the bottom. They are the exact same length and they are congruent. The second one is that opposite sides are parallel. And these little arrows that I've already marked is that means that the opposite sides are parallel to each other. So if they're in a graph, they will have the same slope, and they can also have two parallel lines that form transversals right here. And the last one that I want you to be familiar with is that the opposite angles are congruent. So the corners or the diagonals from each other, opposite angles, are the exact same measurement. Okay. Then the other target talks about the diagonals of a parallelogram, and the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. And again, bisect means cut in half. So that means if you have one diagonal compared to the other one, it's going to cut each of these parts in half. So this line segment is the exact same length as this line segment right here. And same thing with this half of the diagonal compared to that half of the diagonal. Those two are the same. And lastly, that's not included in the targets, but I feel like it's something that should be well known when it comes to parallelograms, is that the consecutive angles of every single parallelogram are supplementary. So if you look at any two angles that are next to each other, they are going to add up to 180 degrees, and I've written out all four of these right here. So say, for example, if angle 1 is equal to 60 degrees, that means that angle 2 plus 60 has to equal 180 degrees. And you find angle 2 by subtracting 60 on both sides, and that would give you a measurement of 120 degrees. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right there, but I'm going to go through some examples in class on how you can find some measurements of the diagonals, side lengths, angles, etc., etc. But this section and the next one are both going to be about parallelograms. So start to get yourself more familiar with them, especially these three theorems or ideas right there. Opposite sides congruent, opposite sides parallel, and opposite angles congruent. All right, thank you.